Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I am going to show you how you can sum an array of numbers instantly in Power Automate with native actions only. I did a video on this before using Office scripts to achieve the same objective. This is even faster and doesn't rely on Office scripts. So if we have a look at this list I've got here, I've only got 3 columns: invoice number, customer and invoice amount. And the objective is to get a sum of this invoice amount. And you can see the SharePoint list is already generating a sum. And there are 500 rows in this list. Now, generally speaking, when we do a sum of an array like this, the general method is to initialize a variable, in this case invoice total. We do a get items action or bring in our array via some other means. Then we iterate around that array and increment our variable by the amount. And there's nothing wrong with this method, but it is incredibly slow. If we look at the run history, we can see that it took 3 minutes to sum up those 500 rows, which is very slow. This new method, I tested it with 100,000 rows and it still took less than a second. So let's quickly build it, because it is very simple to do, and then we can see how it works. So I will start just the same as before, get items, pick my site and the list, and we'll say top count 1000. So I'm going to go straight into a select action to thin the data from get items down. Now here, in this step, I'm going to switch the select action into text mode. It's currently in key value mode. I'm going to switch it into text mode and put in the invoice amount. This is going to bring back a simple array of just the numbers, the invoice amounts. And from here, I'm going to do a compose action, rename it to JSON, and I'm going to make a new JSON and have an object called root. I will explain what this is for in a minute. And in here I'm going to have another element called numbers, and I'm going to put the output of the select as the value of numbers and then finish that off. That looks about right. There might be a mistake in there, but I'll catch it in a minute. I'm going to do another compose and call this one XML. And I'm going to use the expression XML, and I'm going to use the output of JSON as the input of this XML. So before we go any further, let's just save this, see how it looks, and then I will explain why I am converting that JSON output to XML. Okay, so our flow has executed, and so far every action took 0 seconds. So let's have a look at the select action. Select action is just an array of numbers as we expected. JSON, we have got these extra elements, roots and numbers, which is an array. And if we look at the XML, let's just copy that out, put it into here. You can see that we have an error because it's copied the speech marks. Okay, so we can see the XML here is again just an array of numbers underneath this root element. So this now enables us to use the very powerful XPath method. So if we do another compose, and I'm just going to rename this sum, and I am going to actually copy the expression because I've forgotten what it looks like. So I do XPath using the outputs of XML as the input, and we would just use this sum function root numbers. So let's have a look at how that looks. XPath, yeah. Now, the code for this, and there isn't a lot of it because it's very simple, is on my blog, which will be in the description, and you can just go to my blog and copy this out. You'll see that this should finish instantly, and there we have got our sum. We probably want on the end of that a format number action, the number to be formatted, the output of sum, and we'll go for that. So it looks more like currency. Let's test that. There we go. So we have summed up those 500 records. I've tested this with 100,000. It didn't seem to make any difference to the speed. So this is an excellent method, a kind of a hidden gem, which I think that XPath method is, the XPath function, because XPath itself includes lots of functions which are maybe not obvious instantly when you first start using Power Automate, but there's a ton of power within that XPath method which we can exploit to make more efficient flows. So see how you get on, give it a try. If you get stuck, message me on my blog or in the comments and I will try to help you out. If you do get a good result, also let me know. Cheers, bye bye.